Today in our 2016 Honda CRV, we're going to be taking a look at and showing you how to install the eTrailer Class 3 Custom Fit Trailer Hitch Receiver, part number E98868. So here's what our hitch is going to look like once we have it installed on our CRV. The cross tube is going to be visible sticking out right below the bumper, but the main thing we're going to see is that receiver tube sticking out. Our eTrailer hitch is going to have a flat black carbide finish to it, which is going to be a lot different than most hitches that have that high gloss finish, and it is going to hide dirt and scratches a lot better and generally just kind of blend in a little bit better at the bottom of our CRV. It is a Class 3 hitch, means it's going to give us that 2" by 2" receiver tube opening, which is going to have a lot of different options for accessories that we can mount up. The way we're going to mount all of our accessories is to the hitch pin hole here on the side. And it is going to accept a standard 5/8 pin and clip. Now these are not included in the kit, but you can pick them up here at etrailer.com along with some locking devices to keep your accessories secure. Our safety chain connection point is going to be a plate style welded to the bottom, and you can see we're not going to have any trouble getting most size hooks on or off. Our hitch is going to have a 350-pound tongue weight, which is the maximum downward force at the receiver tube, along with a 3,500-pound gross trailer weight rating, which is the amount it can pull, including the trailer and everything we have loaded on it. Now, you always want to double check your CRV's owner's manual and never exceed the manufacturer's recommended weight. I'd like to give you a few measurements, and that's going to help you whenever you're looking at accessories for your hitch. From the center of the hitch pinhole to the outermost edge of the bumper, it's going to be right about 3 inches. Now that's going to come in handy when you're looking at folding accessories to make sure you have enough room and that it's not going to come in contact with the rear bumper. From the ground to the inside top edge of the receiver tube opening, it's right about 14.5 inches. That measurement is going to come in handy when you're looking at ball mounts to make sure you find the appropriate rise or drop to match up to your trailer. So now that we've seen what our hitch looks like and gone over some of the features, let's show you how to get it installed. To begin our installation, we're going to come to the underside of our CRV. Now we're going to have this plastic underbody panel, and we have the option of removing it and trimming out the section we need to, or we can trim it while it's in place. But there's going to be several fasteners all the way around, and you just take a flathead screwdriver and pop those push pins out. But we're going to be cutting out the area that I marked while it's still in place. Now they're going to give you approximate dimensions in the instructions. You just want to trim that out and then test fit everything to make sure we can get access to what we need to. But it's always a good idea to trim a little bit less, and we can always go back and trim more if needed. Now to cut out my area, I'm just going to be using a utility knife. You can use a utility knife or a Dremel tool, whatever you have. You just want to take your time and go slow because it is just plastic, so it shouldn't be too bad to cut through. But again, it's always a good idea to cut less than you need to begin with. Now once you have that cut out, you are going to notice that you're going to have this kind of cotton material underneath. We're going to need to cut that out as well so we can have access to the frame underneath. Again, you can just use a knife or a pair of scissors. You just want to cut out just enough so that we can have an access hole inside. Now once you have the cotton removed, if you look inside, we can see the bottom of the frame rail, and there's going to be 2 threaded holes, and those are going to be our 2 mounting points. Now this is going to be completely optional, but I like to come back with some black paint, and I'm going to spray the cotton inside. That way we don't have that white cotton sticking out on the bottom. This kind of helps hide it a little bit. Now if we move over to the passenger side, we're going to have our exhaust, and we'll have 2 hangers that are holding the muffler in place. So I'm going to take a little bit of spray lubricant. I'm going to spray down the hangers because we're going to want to slide those hangers off the rubber isolator so the exhaust will hang down a little bit and we can get access to our 2 mounting points over here on the passenger side. Just take a pry bar, slide that rubber isolator off, and rotate it out of the way. And that'll give us just enough room that we can reach in there and access our mounting points. Now on the frame rail here, you'll see that our weld nuts have a little bit of rust in them. So I'm going to come back, I'm going to spray them down with some spray lubricant. Then I'm going to take a nylon tube brush I'm going to make sure I get all the debris and everything out of there. You want to do this for each one of the mounting holes on both sides. Now once you have your holes cleaned out, you're going to want to come back with your M12 bolts and make sure that you can easily thread it in by hand and that they're not going to get cross-threaded. You want to check each one of the mounting holes and make sure you can do that. Now in the center of the trunk pane on the bottom, we're going to have this tow hook. We're going to grab our U-bolt. We want to pass it over so that those threads are straddling it and facing down. Now with an extra set of hands, we're going to lift our hitch into position. On the passenger side, you want to go over the exhaust. And on the driver's side, you want to go through the hole. We'll line out the mounting holes, and you want to get at least one bolt started. We'll put a conical tooth washer on, facing the hitch. We'll get one bolt started on each side. That way the hitch will help support itself. And with our U-bolt, there's going to be two holes in the bottom of our hitch here. You want to make sure that those two threads are coming through. We're going to take our flange nuts. We're going to loosely secure these, one on each side. Then we can put the rest of our hardware in place. If you're having trouble reaching your hand in and getting the bolts started over on the driver's side, you can take an extension with a 17mm socket and guide your hardware up, make it a little bit easier to get everything started. And I'm going to snug up all my hardware. Now for our U-bolts, we'll be using an 11/16 socket, and when you snug these up, you want to alternate so you get an even pull on that U-bolt. And we'll come back with a torque wrench, and we're going to torque all of our hardware down to the specified amount in the instructions. You want to repeat that for all of your remaining hardware. I'll take a little more spray lubricant. I'm going to spray down my hanger and the isolators. It's going to make it a little bit easier to get those rubber hangers back in place. That'll finish up your look at the eTrailer Class 3 Custom Fit Trailer Hitch Receiver, part number E98868 on our 2016 Honda CRV.